Hello, hello. 'Tis I, the Artemis. It's Brother Ron. I'm the one for news and information. This is We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. Once again, it's We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. We got a great one in store for you all, family. So pull up, tell a friend, it's your friend, Brother Ron, with the news, you can use. Brother Ron, with the news. Tell everybody, man, we got a show one I should have done last night, but I fell asleep. I got that itis. Been running around. It's a crazy week. It's like yesterday was Saturday from last week, and now we're in Saturday now. Time is moving fast. It's a lot of information overload, but I want to do my part. And I want to thank the people out there that have been long time listeners, because the reason I'm doing this show right now is because of the information I got from viewers and whatnot that have connections to Houston, to H-Town, close to the Prince family somewhat. They know more than what's being reported officially in the so-called mainstream media. And I just want to give food for thought, because I'm not hearing too many other people report about this. And maybe it could offer some more insight into what happened tragically this past November 1st down in H-Town. We lost Takeoff of the Migos. A lot of people are speculating it's like it's the new JFK, you know what I'm saying? Because they got the president down in Dallas on November 22nd. Now these rappers are being sacrificed in the month of November. Like, I'm in Memphis, so we had Young Dolph get taken out of here November 17th of last year. You got King Von. You got a couple of people that's been taken off this planet really before their time, it seems. But, people make these deals. We are all blood sacrifices, big and small. I want to cover a lot of things this weekend. And hopefully y'all agree that this info you can use. Please support what I am doing with the We All Be movement, because we all be in it to win it. You can cash out your support, $ R2C2H2. You can Google Pay, PayPal, and Zelle your support, R2C2H2 at gmail.com. That's R2C2H2 at gmail.com. And also, you can Venmo your support at R2C2H2. And the thing about it is, this is not begging, this is investing, okay? Because a lot of y'all pay for a lot of distractions. Y'all got a lot of subscriptions to distractions like Amazon Prime, like the NBA League Pass, the NFL League Pass. A lot of entertainment distractions, bread, and circuses. Y'all pay for all that starch, and to consume all that mental starch is truly unhealthy. It's like you eat too much starch on the physical body. So what I'm doing, I'm giving you food for thought, giving you infotainment, and it takes research, it takes courage to do what I'm doing, because I have no safety net. I'm not Kanye West. I'm not gonna lose billions of dollars. I never made $1 billion, never made $1 million, right? But I feel so free and so compelled and so inspired by the spirit of the times to share this info when people give it to me. But hopefully y'all see the value in investing in the work that I'm doing on the front lines. I've been doing this for a long, long time. Been very consistent in spite of whatever shortcomings and fears and doubts and depression and whatever I had to go through. I made sure I deliver something to the people over the years, and I've been consistent about it. That's how I feel about it. That's the feedback I get. So I want to thank everybody who have donated, who have sent me words of affirmation, confirmation, and inspiration over these years. All right, and the best is yet to come. But this rap thing is very deep, man. Houston's an interesting place. It's like Houston's one of those places where people get set up, get taken out here on the setup. Or Texas in general. Like I said, President Kennedy got killed in Dallas back on November 22nd of 63. And the thing about it is he had security. He had so-called Secret Service, so-called law enforcement, and things of that nature. And the Takeoff situation remind me of the Kennedy thing. But you remember this as well, that they took JFK's body out of Dallas, out of Texas. When they were trying to do the autopsy at Parkland Hospital, the Secret Service intervened and took his body against Texas law out of the state because he was killed in Dallas. The state of Texas was responsible for doing the president's autopsy. Had they done the autopsy in Texas instead of at Naval Bethesda Hospital, Naval Hospital in Bethesda, Maryland, the truth would have probably came out much quicker about what happened. Because you remember the president's brain went missing around that so-called autopsy situation. There's a lot of stuff to that, but they did Takeoff's autopsy in Houston, and he was shot twice, once in the head, once in the torso, right? So we do know that. And it's interesting because, Takeoff, his first solo album was called The Last Rocket. And he got killed in Rocket City, like not just the Houston Rockets, but NASA space program. The Lyndon Baines Johnson Space Center is located in Houston. So it's interesting, man. Who write these scripts? Cause I feel like we're in a Matrix, we're in a video game, we're in a movie. Like I said, I be going to places, having conversations with friends and family and strangers. And then based on the theme of my conversation or our conversations, the music starts to match the theme of the stuff we're talking about. And that's my life. I can't speak on nobody else, but even before we touch into the Takeoff news that I have to share, I also want to talk about, 2 Memphis rappers were killed in Houston this year. Snooty Wild was killed in February. I think they found him on the side of the road, gunshot wound to the neck. He died from it later on. Then you had this up and coming rapper named Lotta Cass Desto. Then Lotta Cass Desto, female rapper from Memphis, had a unique flow and persona. She was killed in some type of carjacking road rage incident, allegedly back in September of this year. But here's the thing I found about her. I started doing some research into Lotta Cass Desto because I don't know about these rappers till they get popped. Like I didn't learn about Pop Smoke until he was popped in smoke. Your words create worlds, right? A lot of these rappers getting killed, P&B Rock. I might have heard of their music in passing because I don't listen to radio like that. And also, the music industry market towards younger people than I'm at the age. I'm aged out in terms of them trying to market to me. But to the young folks, they the trendsetters and all that stuff. But so I started researching Lotta Cass Desto. Kind of found out that she was in line with the Little Uzi Vert. That's his name, Little Uzi Vert, the good brother out of Pennsylvania, who got a unique flow. He's actually talented to me, Little Uzi Vert. And I think they're trying to say he's a Satanist. So a lot of people are saying, well, she was a blood sacrifice for Little Uzi Vert. I think he's a Verti or Vert. I don't know, man. I don't listen to guys like that. But I also saw that she aligned herself with a Jacksonville rapper named Julio Fulio. He's a young guy in his early 20s. Julio Fulio. She did a song with him dissing one of his dead ops. Like in Chicago, the drill rap scene, a lot of them cats get lit up because they start dissing each other, dead ops, dead opposition. Like they'll make a song about a dead op. They'll go to their grave. Literally, they'll pee on the grave or piss on the grave or crap on the grave or whatever. Excuse me, literally and metaphorically, right? Next thing you know, they get popped in smoke. Then people make songs about the folks that popped in smoke, or they go back and forth. But she was on a song with Julio Fulio. And maybe a lot of people saying that this song got her killed. But she had a line about smoking his dead ops or whatever, smoking a pack. This guy named Leaky, Little Leaky or whatever. Little Leaky, another rapper out of Jacksonville, that was the op of Julio Fulio. And people were saying online, because the internet is undefeated, in these YouTube streaks, that she was killed because of that song she was in, siding with a person, taking a side in a beef that she wasn't even a part of. This beef was no concern, but she did a collab with Julio Fulio, and that's what got her killed in Texas. Not in Florida, y'all. Mind you, this happened in Texas. So they were saying there's a connection to that. So I just like, this generation is interesting. I think they don't really plan to live to 30 the way they going at each other like this. But it's like people also was passing around this former white music video director. He used to direct videos for rappers and like Gucci Mane and other people like that. And he presented a challenge in his Instagram video that's went viral. That basically trying to say rappers make more positive music. Hold yourself accountable. And black folks been saying that for years, though. Reverend Calvin Butts said it. He just passed on. C. Dolores Tucker said it. She passed on. She said it years ago. But like black folks think this is a revelation. Black folks been talking about this, been critical of the rap music industry and the lyrics and stuff like that. Been critical of the music companies that put this stuff out there. But yet when a white dude said, y'all, like it's Jesus, it's a eureka moment. And no disrespect to him, because I love what he said, but there's a lot of folks been saying that for a while now. And our people, we're in a sad state of affairs. You know, sad state of affairs we find ourselves in. But if you like what you're hearing, please subscribe. We all BTV. Please support the channel and me. The Cash App is down here. $ R2C2H2. You got the Google Pay, PayPal, Zelle, R2C2H2 at gmail.com. Vimo at R2C2H2. You can buy Art of His Art, R2C2H2.com. You can even buy and wear Art of His Art, Teespring location. But let me get to the main topic that is worthy of discussing, because we all be in it to win it, and information is truly power and powerful. Because I'm surprised nobody really talking about this. The Prince connection. Thank you, brother Harold Washington. We love you madly. I'm gonna keep going with the work and the words. You heard me. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. But we're gonna talk about this because it's something I'm surprised a lot of bloggers ain't focusing on. And like I said, I don't look at everybody's stuff. There's a lot of interesting, good stuff out there, a lot of fluff. But it's something that somebody brought to my attention, a long time listener and watching supporter of the channel contacted me yesterday. And she had me looking deeper into the Princes. Like, for example, like I said, I don't really follow a lot of stuff. I didn't know until, the day that Takeoff was killed, that Quavo was his uncle. I knew they were related. I thought they were all brothers or something. But they're, Offset is the cousin of Takeoff, and Quavo is the uncle of Takeoff. They're all close in age, right? And also, I was confused. I didn't know that Jazz Prince was separate from Jay Prince Jr. I thought Jay Prince and Jazz Prince was the same people, but they're brothers. They're brothers and brothers and brothers, right? Let me get it. Like, this weather's crazy. So, from my understanding, Jay Prince Sr. has 7 children and 3 sons, right? So Jay Prince Sr. has 3 sons, 4 daughters, 7 children in all. I think about different baby mamas. I'm not sure. I was told that Jay Prince and Jazz Prince have 2 different moms, and that there's some type of sibling rivalry going on between them. That they're actually like some type of really deep sibling rivalry. Like they got some beef. Like Memphis said, they got Anno. They got some Anno with each other, and which is not unusual for siblings to have issues with one another. I have known siblings, and I'm a sibling myself. I'm the eldest of 2 siblings. I got a younger brother in his 20s. I got a younger sister in her 30s, and I'm the eldest. And I can understand situations with siblings. You could be raised with your siblings, and y'all could grow apart as you get older, start your own journeys, start your own families. I have known people that they had such severe falling outs with their siblings that they would not even attend their funerals. They'll curse them out even when they're dead and say, I'll never forgive that MFer. And I don't judge them for it, because I don't know what type of hell or trauma they went through with their not lovable loved ones, unlovable loved ones. I don't know. So I don't pass judgment, but I heard that Jazz Prince and Jay Prince Jr. are not on good terms with each other. There's a rivalry because Jay Prince Jr. got his Mob Ties brand, Mob Ties. He got his organization called Mob Ties. Then Jazz Prince got his own situation. It was actually Jazz Prince that discovered Drake. They had helped Drake get signed to Young Money. And then that deal, Jazz Prince got like 33% of Drake's earnings. From my understanding, according to Forbes, he had a deal when he signed the Young Money, Lil Wayne's record label, right? That he was getting like 33% of Drake's earnings. And that's significant because Drake is one of the, not just biggest rap stars, one of the biggest music artists right now on the scene. He one of the biggest music artists of the 21st century. This man has taken on the Beatles by himself, the Beatles. No, he's challenging the Beatles records and stuff. And this is a dude who got connections to Memphis, right? Who got connections to Memphis. His daddy, Dennis Graham, is from Memphis. I met Dennis Graham several years, about 10 years ago. I met Dennis Graham at the historic marker unveiling for Royal Studios. We just got through honoring Lawrence Boo Mitchell, the grandson of the late great Willie Mitchell, the architect of the Royal Studio High Records, the guy who gave us Al Green and People's I Can't Stand the Rain, O.V. Wright, Otis Clay, the architect, one of the most important Memphis music and R&B pioneers. We honor his grandson, Lawrence Boo Mitchell, who recorded Uptown Funk at Royal Studios, where Willie Mitchell held it down for decades. I met Dennis Graham at the historic marker unveiling back in, I want to say March of 2012. He was with his young family, had his daughter and his wife or girlfriend, I think, with him. And he is Drake's father because Drake got his facial features, man. He can't deny Drake. If they went to paternity court, you are the father. With the Maury Povich, you are the father, right? So my understanding is that, so Jazz Prince said he got an ear to God, right? He's gifted in finding talent. And if he never did anything else, he discovered Drake. If Jazz Prince did nothing else, he could lay the rightful claim that he discovered Drake and got him signed. He gave us Drake. Okay, that's Jazz Prince. That was his birthday event that the Migos was in town for. From my understanding, they're closer to Jazz Prince than Jay Prince Jr. So they came to Houston to honor Jazz Prince. You understand? Because Migos did a couple of bangers with Drake. They did the Versace remix, Versace, right? And they did Walk It Like I Talk, Walk It Like I Talk, Walk It Like I Talk. So that's the connection, right? And Jay Prince Jr. got his own thing going on. He got Mob Ties, and he got an artist called Finesse 2 Times, right? Finesse 2 Times. I see these guys. This is a Memphis dude, right? From my understanding, they love him, man. Finesse 2 Times. I thought he was from Texas, but he from Memphis, right? See, Memphis got a unique thing. Ain't no place in the country like Memphis when it comes to talent. Talent is everywhere. When I tell you that I can walk outside my door and take a person off the street, they can either like sing, dance, rap, or tell a joke. That's Memphis. Memphis is one of them places where there's so much talent. It's almost like a sin because it's like so much get wasted because there's not enough venues and platforms and organizations to push these artists to the proper heights. You understand? A lot of these musicians don't really understand how to market or promote themselves. A lot of them lack self-confidence, even though they're gifted in what they do. So you need people like a Colonel Parker. You need Joe Jacksons. You need Jazz Princes to make those connections to help those people get signed. I don't think Drake lacked confidence. I'm not saying that. But you need folks that can put all their resources, all themselves into you to push you to the next level. I doubt that Elvis would have made it the way he made it without a character like Colonel Parker in his corner. Y'all can say what y'all want. That's the reality. It's like Joe Jackson. Y'all can villainize Joe Jackson. No disrespect to Catherine, but it was Joe Jackson that gave us the discipline them boys to create the Jackson 5. whose music still sounds refreshing today. It sounds refreshing. You listen to Jackson 5 music right now, it sounds great to me. I know Judge Joe Brown don't care for that, but Judge Joe Brown, I don't know. That's his opinion. But Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Joe Jackson, the disciplinarian, helped create those characters, those acts, those music sensations, those geniuses. So give the devil his due. All right. So let's look at it like this, right? Let me see. I've been talking to Mal a minute. Pull up some visuals for you all. But hit the like button, man. Hit the like button. If you like what you're hearing, hit it, man. Hit the like button, man. Pull out some visuals as I'm talking. I think it's very important. I'm just surprised a lot of people that's into this stuff, they're not really covering this angle to have a better understanding. Because it was a calling to like the Monroe show, I think, the brother Monroe, I think that's his name. She said stuff started in the Fifth Ward, right? Fifth Ward is where they from, ghetto boys and all that stuff, right? So whatever transpired before the tragic events of the morning of November 1st happened a day earlier, hours earlier. But I just want to put this on people's mind because it's been on my mind. Like I said, I fell asleep last night. I meant to go live with this yesterday, but I didn't. But so they okay. I want to setting the mood, right? So no, you see the guy by himself, that's DJ Prince Sr. And to his I guess to his left are his sons. You got Jazz Prince. Now that's Jay Prince Jr., the one closest to him, to that picture of Jay Prince Sr. Then to his left, that's Jazz Prince. It's very biblical what's going on here. Jay Prince. Okay, you look at it like I love the Godfather movies, right? I love 1 and 3 and 2. I love all three of the movies, the Godfather trilogy. So look at Jay Prince Sr. as Vito Corleone. His Vito Corleone, Don Vito. See, Jay Prince Jr. will be Sonny Corleone. That will played by, the actor who just passed away this year. Brilliantly, he was a hothead. He was more street, right? More of an enforcer type, more street, more of a hothead. Okay, that's I don't know the brother personally, but that's what the perception of him is, according to what I've been reading and watching and stuff like that. That he's more of a aggressive type, more of a street connected dude. I mean, his organization is called Mob Ties for a reason, right? Then you got Jazz Prince. Jazz Prince will be Michael Corleone, more laid back and nuanced, more business minded, a little bit more refined, right? He's a cat that discovered Drake. So there you go. And he made a deal where he get at least 33% of his earnings, right? I think he had to go to court to settle, but him and Drake are still cool from my understanding, for what I read. So those his two sons, right? So he's done Vito, Jay Prince Sr. Left Jay Prince Jr. is Sonny Corleone. And then Jazz Prince is Michael Corleone. And he got 7 children in all. Got 3 sons. I guess the other son will be Fredo. I don't know what his thing is. He's not involved. He doesn't have the same profile as his well-known brothers, right? But they're Southern rap royalty, Houston rap royalty, no doubt. And it's very biblical too. I mean, you can look at Jay Prince Sr. has a very until last week, he was renowned and respected. He was almost universally respected, it seems, for his business acumen, for his demeanor, the way he carried himself, and for really investing into his community. He gave back a lot over the years to the greater Houston community. So he has an impeccable reputation until last week. It was spotless, right? All things considered. So let's dig a little deep. Like I said earlier, allegedly there's some type of real deep sibling rivalry between Jay Prince Jr. and Jazz Prince, right? Jazz discovered Drake. Jay Prince Jr. got finesse two times, who's very popular. Cause I think him and Moneybag Yo, they made up Moneybag Yo, another very popular pop in Memphis rapper. Memphis got some amazing rappers, man. I mean, we have got so many gifted people. We need better leadership in the city. I would run and people would vote for me, but I don't know. A lot of kids that I'm helping, they don't even want to help me, and that's another story for another day. But anyway, let me see. Trying to find the information. Then we're gonna read Jay Prince Jr.'s, Jay Prince Sr.'s official statement. We all be in it to win it, y'all. It's a lot of information. Okay. Let me read what Jay Prince said, Sr. Still up. I think it's very important. And that's why I think we should be doing news like this. This is kind of gossipy and stuff like that, but it's not, because it gives me time to really research these characters involved in this narrative. And we should be doing that, because a lot of people speculating, and I don't agree with people saying that people shouldn't use phone cameras to record these type of things. If it wasn't for the phone cameras, we wouldn't know a lot of things that transpired. And social media does have good uses. So I'm not in agreement. People talking about, well, it's so sensitive. I mean, look, when I die, I don't care if people record or take pictures of me in my casket. I don't really care. I love doing that. I love taking pictures of people in their casket. It don't bother me. It's not disrespectful to me either. I love going to cemeteries, eating food, and playing my trumpet and speaking, having cyphers with dead people. I love it. That's just me, though. I'm not like y'all. I'm different. I'm a different type of dude. But I don't have no problem with people taking pictures of these type of things, because what does Zapruder then do that for the Kennedy assassination? Nobody was expecting President Kennedy to get his head popped like a pimple on November 22nd, 63. It was certain people that knew it was going to happen, a small cartel of people that knew. But I'm saying, like, the average Joe Schmo, nobody wasn't aware that he was going to get taken out like that. And Zapruder had the film. And for years, they hid that film. Dan Rather made his career. Think about what I'm about to say, because y'all like to trust these so-called mainstream people, media folks. Dan Rather made his career by covering the Kennedy assassination. Dan Rather lied about how President Kennedy's head went. He lied. He made his career lying about how President Kennedy was killed. It wasn't until years later when they showed the Zapruder film on Geraldo Rivera's platform, Good Night America, with Dick Gregory was there when they premiered the Zapruder film nationwide. Because Dick Gregory was one of the first people to call into question what really happened to President Kennedy. One of his dear friends, attorney Mark Lane, wrote the groundbreaking book, A Rush to Judgment, that challenged the findings of the so-called Warren Commission, right? And Dick Gregory and Mark Lane did Operation Zorro, that uncovered the government conspiracy to kill Dr. King in Memphis, where I'm at right now. I'm right near where Dr. King was shot in the face. See, I'm standing on truth. I'm in ground zero for truth right now. So for all them people saying they shouldn't have phone cameras, they should be ashamed. No, keep on filming. Because if they didn't film George Floyd, we wouldn't know what happened to George Floyd. Y'all keep on talking about, well, they should have did something. Y'all afraid to stand up against folks that's been exploiting you for decades. They call it hate when you stand up against people that's been exploiting you and your family for generations. When you call them out with the receipts, you still speaking hate speech. And y'all got the nerve to call out people who were not expecting for a Takeoff to be killed to document the horror. Because if you didn't see that, you wouldn't know why Jay Prince Sr. is coming out now. Because they could have easily swept this under the rug, because the police chief of Houston needs to recuse himself from this case. He has made it clear that he is biased on how this case will be conducted. He's too close to the situation. He's too close to the princes. I'm just allegedly, that's why I'm feeling that he already said he got a connection with the Houston rap community. So how could he properly cover this case the way it needs to be covered and solved? He's too close. He need to recuse himself. There need to be other entities brought in to oversee this investigation about what happened to Takeoff. But Jay Prince, I'm gonna read his statement, but I'm gonna keep this in mind, y'all. I don't see nothing wrong. I don't see nothing wrong. I don't see nothing wrong because white folks used to take pictures of lynchings and made them into postcards, right? There was an exhibition about 20 years ago without sanctuary. It was like an exhibition of these postcards of lynching victims. That's important to see that. That's history. Stop trying to erase history because it's uncomfortable. Y'all so scared. Y'all like LeBron James, Big Bad King James, afraid of every damn thing. You big, strong black buck run faster than an antelope, stronger than a gorilla, and you afraid of police. You afraid of tweets. You afraid of Kyrie and Amazon Prime. What is wrong with us, man? What is wrong with us? No, we keep on recording because we'll never know that Jay Prince Jr. was there. It's somebody that looked like him that had his name medallion on that walked past the body like it was just trash on the street. These folks will be close to your family and you just treat them like he's just garbage. I'm not saying that I don't know. Allegedly, I don't know. But they caught a guy that looked like him walking past everybody trying to get his ass on down. Okay? The Prince family, they took a hit on this one. This little bad. Don't tell me to check in when I can't check out. And the way you want me to check out is I don't come back to see my family. I'm leaving, riding the top of the plane, but I'm leaving at the bottom of the plane, a coffin. No, don't tell me to check in. Y'all ain't no OGs, man. Ain't no OGs. Y'all got this fantasy world. There ain't no more OGs. The OGs that will be OGs, they locked up, 23 hours lockdown and Supermax. There ain't no more OG. Don't tell me about no street code. The streets run wild. Y'all don't control the streets control you. Talking about some checking in. I ain't safe to eat no chicken and waffles. I ain't safe to go to no Halloween party. I ain't safe to play no dice game. Don't tell me about I need to check in with you. You can't guarantee my security. You don't run nothing but your mouth. It's not, I'm just saying all over the place. Guys, come on, man. Thank God for phone cameras. That's all I got to say. Thank God for phone cameras. Y'all can be all y'all feelings. Y'all talking about what Memphis Till allowed the world to see. No, we need to see this stuff because they still hanging black folks. They still killing black people. Y'all don't want to deal with the truth. Key, if there was no phone cameras, like this statement that I'm about to read will hold a little bit more weight. Now, Jazz Prince, that was his event. The event was over with. No, Jazz left the scene. I really do feel that the Migos should have left with Jazz Prince, the person they were actually closest to, instead of staying around mingling. From my understanding, is that Quavo, I think Takeoff even was trying to de-escalate a situation between two rival groups. One group was Mob Ties. I believe the other group was Jazz Prince's group organization. They had a lot of tension that started in the Fifth Ward prior, right? And it led into this event. But I just wish that Quavo and Takeoff would have left with Jazz Prince instead of just hanging around for an hour and something, right? And y'all keep on thinking, well, man, this place where they were at was not a hole in the wall place. It was built in 2016. It's a state-of-the-art facility in downtown Houston. This ain't a hole in the wall in the hood, okay? So you get killed at grocery stores and churches and movie theaters and concerts. I mean, it don't make a difference. Death doesn't play favorites when it comes to zip codes and area codes. Death does not play favorites when it comes to zip codes and area codes. Death does not play favorites when it comes to zip codes and area codes, all right? So let me read this statement that Jay Prince Sr. got on Instagram, right? Read this, right? The Prince family would like to send our condolences to the family and friends of their beautiful soul, Takeoff, to Houstonians and families around the world. This one breaks my heart because Takeoff was a brother, a son, a role model, and a God-loving human being. Grief is the price of love, a bill people from across the globe are paying right now as we mourn this loss. I've been knowing Takeoff, Quavo, and Offset for many years, and there has been nothing but mutual love for one another, and that ain't going to ever change where we are concerned. This shouldn't have happened. This shouldn't have ever happened in our city. This shouldn't have been recorded, and this damn sure shouldn't have been circulating across social media for family, friends, and fans to see. As I write this, I'm angry about the lack of love and respect we have for one another as a race, which keeps bringing us back to the same tragic place of black on black killing. They say Satan is the author of confusion, and right now there are a lot of lies and false narratives being spread by media whores. Media whores, right? Okay. I consider myself a man that's quick to listen and slow to speak. Therefore, to whoever is responsible for putting that bullet in my little nephew's head, let it be known that you can't hide behind me, beside me, or anywhere near me, because I don't tolerate dumb shit. I speak these words not knowing whose bullet is responsible for his death. With that being said, the root of this tragedy is foolish and has to be owned by the fool. I will sum this up by saying a gun in the hands of any human that closes his eyes to shoot and doesn't have the proper skills of operating that gun is dangerous. And the results usually end with innocent people who had nothing to do with the altercation being shot or killed. To the homies in Georgia and around the world, they got love for Takeoff like we do. Know this. Let's change the narrative in our culture, resulting in violence. It's okay to live and let live to see another day. Rest in peace, Takeoff. And people letting him have it in the comment section, and rightfully so. Because how does he know the person closed their eyes and just let it rip? Who was the person that closed their eyes? How you know that the person? Why would he say that? You know, 3 people were shot, but the only person that died was Takeoff. He got shot in the head and the torso. So somebody just happened to, shoot him in the head and torso. I don't know, man. You don't know what to read into this, but man, those empty words, man. Because like you can't have it both ways, right? Because somebody from your group, because it was their event, the Migos were not armed, from my understanding. It's your event. They did security checks, right? A private event. Security checks was done. And from my understanding, the only people that had guns were the folks associated with your family. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not that smart, but it's funny to me. Willie D has a lot to say about Kanye and other people. He has nothing to say about this. I don't follow Willie D like that. I was a big fan of the Ghetto Boys growing up, and I had respect for Jay Prince and what he was trying to do. How the government was coming after him and people like him and Suge and Irv Gotti when they're trying to control black music through distribution, and the feds came hard on them guys. But what I'm saying is, these words don't hold weight, man, because your reputation is in the toilet. Because you can't, y'all keep on telling me y'all the bosses, right? I'm gonna tell you a story. Tony Accardo, one of the greatest mafia bosses in the history this country has ever known. Tony Accardo, who ran the Chicago outfit, Al Capone mob, for decades, behind the throne, sitting in the throne as well behind the throne. He was the power behind Sam Giancana. When I thought Sam Giancana was really running stuff, it was Big Tuna, Joe Batters, that was running stuff. They just called his man Joe Batters because he used to beat and kill people with baseball bats when he was coming up the ranks. He was one of Al Capone's drivers and bodyguards. They say he was there for the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, February 14th, 1929. He put in work and he died an old man, almost 90 years old, never spent any real time in prison. He never spent any time in jail, really, and died an old man, right? And he got two relatives. He got a grandson, I believe a great-grandson. One of his grandsons played for the 49ers. Y'all know who he is. Tony Accardo grandsons, you got 2 grandsons in the NFL. One's a great, one's a grandson, I think, something like that. But he got 2, because he was a talented athlete. He had athletic abilities himself, so he passed on to his family, right? He lived in a suburb of Chicago. These burglars had the nerve to burglarize his home and take expensive jewelry out of his home while he wasn't there. This infuriated Tony Accardo. You know what he did? He sent his goons out to get these guys. and made an example out of them. They tortured these guys and torched their face off. They burnt their faces out and put them in trunks around the city to let them know that you will not exploit or burglarize or steal from the boss man, Tony Accardo. They blowtorched these guys' face off. They tortured them, put them in trunks, burnt them, whatever. But they made the example, and the example was felt, and nobody burglarized his home again. You understand what I'm saying? So when a visitor, somebody, a guest in your home gets disrespected like that, there's got to be some type of pushback, player. And the Instagram post ain't gonna work because I don't know if y'all safe to come to Georgia. I'm not putting nothing out there, but it's like you hear all this stuff. It's like, man, come on, man. That's a bad look. It don't look like an OG to me. Like you don't. It's like the inmates are running the asylum to me down in Texas. It's too many rappers getting killed in Texas, in particular Houston, for y'all to be playing boss moves like that. It's too many. And they try to put this on Quavo. They don't Quavo. Quavo up there doing what you're supposed to do when you lose a loved one like that. He's acting the way he's supposed to act. Meanwhile, as a person look like your son, walking past everybody, cursing or whatever, allegedly, and walking, trying to get away from the scene as fast as possible. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's really unfortunate. And like I said, Jay Prince singing, he's like a good guy. I don't know all their story. I'm just learning that Jazz Prince and Jay Prince Jr. two different individuals. They both his sons though. It's like a Greek Shakespearean tragedy when you start looking at this stuff from a different angle. You know, I'm not gonna accuse anybody of anything, but I believe the police chief needs to recuse himself from this case because he's too close to some of the players involved. And I'm not really checking the comment section right now. I'm trying to get through this right. A lot of stuff I'm trying to get through. So keep on posting your comments. Keep on talking among yourselves. Because I don't believe in censorship. I believe in freedom of thought. Let me see. I'm trying to read something else about these people. Okay. Who is Jazz Prince, CEO of Young Empire Music, right? So you got Mob Ties. That's Jay Prince Jr.'s organization. They into fashion. Also, he said he's the manager of this very popular Memphis rapper I never really heard of called Finesse 2 Time. See, a lot of these Memphis rappers, I didn't know about Young Dolph till I went to Ferguson and to Baltimore. You know, it was Freddie Gray's friends telling me about, okay, I tell them I was from Memphis. They said, man, we love Yo Gotti and Young Dolph, man. We love Memphis stuff, man. Memphis has got that swagger about it. It's an amazing brand, but the people of Memphis don't know nothing about it. People of Memphis so downbeat and sad and depressed and self-hate. They don't know how the world view Memphis. But I went to Ferguson. I mean, we love Young Dolph. We love Yo Gotti. Went to Baltimore, talking with Freddie Gray friends several years ago. Oh, man, we about to see Young Dolph next week, player. We about to see Young Dolph next week. But let me read about who is Jazz Prince, CEO of Young Empire Music Group. So you got two factions within the Prince family. You got the Mob Ties, headed by Jay Prince Jr. Then you got the Young Empire Music Group, headed by Jazz Prince, right? So I'm going to read this article. Who is Jazz Prince, CEO of Young Empire Music Group, whose birthday party rapper Takeoff was at before he got shot dead in Houston? Okay. In Houston, the bowling alley was where rapper Takeoff died early on November 1st, and the 28-year-old was having a party for Jazz Prince's birthday. Jazz Prince is a businessman and the CEO of a record label. Takeoff, whose real name is Kirshnik Kyrie Ball, was playing dice with Quavo, another member of Migos, when the shooting happened. TMZ said that 2 other people were shot, but Quavo was not hurt. Online tributes have been pouring in, and many fans have taken to Twitter to share their condolences with Takeoff's uncle Quavo and his cousin Offset, who together made up the hip-hop group Migos. Let me see. Who is Jazz Prince? What does he do? The most famous thing about Jazz Prince, who is the son of James Prince, is that he found Drake on MySpace. How many people remember MySpace? MySpace was where Facebook is now. But Facebook is MySpace on steroids. His father is the music mogul who started Rap-A-Lot Records in the 80s. So he comes from a famous family. J. Prince Jr. and J. Prince, also known as Baby J, are Jazz Prince's brothers. So I guess J. Prince is like the Fredo. Jazz Prince is Michael Corleone. J. Prince Jr. is Sonny Corleone. And J. Prince, like Jay-Z, he's Fredo. That's how I look at it. In 2007, he told his father that he wanted to get into the music business. He then went out to find the next big thing. Who caught his attention? Yes, you guessed right. It was Drake. The CEO of the Young Empire Music Group right now is Jazz Prince. In 2017, he told Forbes that he has an ear from God. He said, I hear things, and when I hear them, I go to the next level in my mind. I could see where it could go. Quavo puts up video with Jazz Prince on night of shooting. On the night of October 31st, Jazz Prince was having a party in Houston, Texas to celebrate his birthday. Quavo, who was in town for the party, posted a video of himself in a convertible car with Jazz and two other people on his Instagram story. Okay. You can hear the rapper say, yo, we're sliding through the town, man. Got the birthday boy with me. Got the birthday boy with me. J. Prince Jr. posted on his story earlier in the night, bowling party tonight at 9 p.m. DM for details. Later, he told his followers that Quavo, No Cap, and Shakur Stevenson were coming. And then he used the cross fingers emoji. Okay. TMZ says that Jazz Prince was not with Quavo and Takeoff at the time of the shooting. So look, this was a birthday party for Jazz Prince, right? But when they had the incident that took the life of Takeoff, he wasn't there. And Quavo posted an Instagram video of him riding around with who? Jazz Prince. So really, I'm not blaming the Migos. They should have left with Jazz Prince. They came to Houston to spend time and celebrate with Jazz Prince. They should have left the premises when Jazz Prince left. Maybe they could have avoided this tragedy that happened, right? Let me see. Just reading it. Okay, let me read something about J. Prince Jr., right? Get to know some of these people, because I didn't know so much interesting information, man. Let's talk about something about J. Prince Jr. Okay, this is we all be in it to win it, man. It's a lot of information there. Okay, I'm just putting it out because I don't hear other blog people. They talking about dude in yellow hoodie, dude in black shirt. Let's get to know these background of these people that we tend to celebrate. We love being willfully ignorant about things we should know a lot about, right? So let's talk about J. Prince Jr. Who is J. Prince Jr.? Mob Tie CEO comes under fire on Twitter for walking past Takeoff's dead body in video. Let me drink that saying. If y'all like what y'all hearing, y'all know how to support. This is not necessarily my thing, but I decided to do this show at noon because Baba Dick Gregory said, if you want to know the truth about what happened, start praying and meditating at noon so that the truth can come out. That's why I started this live at noon Central, because I want the truth to come out about what happened. And y'all blaming Quavo for all this. It's not on him. See, he checked in, but he checked out in a way he never imagined he would get checked out. He gonna fly on top of the plane back to Georgia, right? He flew back to Georgia on top of the plane. His nephew was flying under the plane with the rest of the cargo in the coffin. It should never happen like that. So we're going to expose all this stuff, right? So who is J. Prince Jr.? Mob Tie CEO comes under fire on Twitter for walking past Takeoff's dead body in video. Mob Tie CEO J. Prince Jr. has been slammed by fans of Takeoff following the rapper's death in Houston, Texas. The incident happened during a dice game involving Takeoff and Quavo, which led to an argument, and in the ensuing chaos, Takeoff was shot. However, video from the incident went viral, with fans believing that Jay Prince walked past Takeoff's dead body. He was slammed by Takeoff's fans for leaving the spot while Quavo was asking for help. Okay, that's crazy. Jay Prince Jr. alongside Takeoff and Quavo were spotted in Houston for a Halloween party. Quavo also posted a video on his Instagram story where he was seen in a convertible car with Jazz Prince and two other individuals. Prince Jr. also shared a few screenshots on Instagram and mentioned that Quavo, No Cap, and Shakur Stevenson, Shakur Stevenson is a boxer, right? See, the Prince family is known for managing boxers, managing and promoting boxers. They father at one point even managed Floyd Mayweather, from my understanding. And we'll read about his father's, these are some amazing people. Like his sons, y'all, the fruit doesn't fall too far from the tree. It's like they're good at business, they're good at promoting themselves and marketing. They really got a hold of the culture, right? But we're talking about somebody who's dead. They shouldn't have died under these circumstances. All right. Takeoff fan slam Jay Prince Jr. on Twitter. Prince Jr.'s act of walking past Takeoff's dead body was not well received by the public, and they reacted to the same on Twitter. Okay. So a lot of responses, rightfully so. Following the shooting incident, Jazz Prince shared a statement on his Instagram story, which read, "I never like to hear about things like this happening anywhere, especially in my city, and to my family. When I got woken up with a call about this, I couldn't believe it. I'm with you, my brother, Quavo. Prayers to all who are hurting, RIP. Takeoff." After Takeoff was shot, police officers arrived at the location at 2:30 a.m. and Takeoff was pronounced dead. Two more people were injured and were transported to the hospital in private vehicles. The identities of the other two individuals remain unknown. I said a video of Quavo also went viral where he was asking a 911 operator, what does she need to do? The woman on the other side revealed that she was a nurse and decided to help Takeoff. In a video acquired by TMZ, dispatchers discussed the incident, stating that 5 shots were fired. Takeoff gained recognition as a member of Migos, which also included Offset and Quavo. Their first mixtape, Jug Season, was released in August 2011, and they gained recognition for their single Versace in 2013. They released their first album, Young Rich Nation, in July 2015, and continue to release more albums like Culture 2, and Culture 3. Okay. Jay Prince Jr. is the manager of rapper Finesse 2 Times. Jay Prince Jr. is the founder and CEO of the streetwear brand Mob Ties. The brand also stands for a movement of bosses together in elevated structure. It's like some GD stuff. You know how people talk about that Larry Hoover concert that Kanye West and Drake did, but it was like Jay Prince and Rap-A-Lot Records, Jay Prince Sr., Rap-A-Lot Records, and Ghetto Boys was really the first ones in hip hop to me to bring attention to what's going on with Larry Hoover back in the 90s. They did that back in the 90s. Jay Prince, I give him props for that, bringing awareness about King Larry Hoover of the GDs, right? Known as Gangster Disciples, but now they go by with growth and development, right? Kind of like this will remind me how they did the acronym for Mob Ties. It's like, movement of bosses together in elevated structure, right? So I guess there's a little, salute to Larry Hoover type of acronym thing, went from Gangster Disciples to growth and development, right? So that's another thing that we need to know our history, because like Jay Prince, they were on the forefront in trying to get Larry Hoover out of Supermax, out of prison. Because the thing about Chicago is it's a gangster town, and gangsters run the politics in Chicago, and everybody's in a gang. Mayor Daley was a gangster. He was in a gang. Gang, right? Everybody. See, Chicago is an interesting place, And Larry Hoover, to me, became a threat because he was politicizing black folks, just like Fred Hampton did before him. You know, they don't want black folks to have power, especially a black man to have that much power. And that's another story. I'm just getting off of tangents and apologize for that. Okay. Jay Prince's father, James Prince, is a musical star and the founder of the label Rap-A-Lot Records. His siblings include brother Jazz Prince, a businessman and record label CEO, a Jay Prince, Jay, like Jay Prince, who works at Prince Boxing. So they were like, their family business is boxing promotion as well as hip hop music and all that stuff. Jay Prince Jr. is the owner of a restaurant in Midtown Houston. His Instagram profile states that he is the manager of rapper Finesse 2 Times, who's from Memphis. It's Glorilla. Memphis is hot with rappers right now, man. I'm loving that new Key Glock, man. From nothing. I mean, Memphis is popular. Ain't no place like it. It just got, man. I don't know, man. That's another live. Anyway, Prince Jr. spoke about his local community in an interview with Days Digital and stated, "One thing I was always taught by my father is never forget where you come from. There's nothing better than being able to come back to your community and give them drive, give them inspiration, and be able to influence the ones that comes from your environment." Okay. He mentioned in another interview that he usually invites popular rappers like Chris Brown and Drake for his birthday. So that's his 2 sons. That's Jay Prince. Those his seeds. Those his fruits. Like, they're doing some great work. I mean, they're doing, like, to me, it's hard when you are the offspring of a famous parent. Like, Jay Prince Sr. is a certified hip hop music legend, man. I can't take nothing away for what Jay Prince done for Southern hip hop in particular, and for hip hop in general. The example he presented over the years of how to conduct yourself with like class and dignity, and to really stand on his square and do the things he done for his community should be commended. But here's the thing: it takes 20 years to build a reputation. It only takes 5 seconds to destroy your reputation. And this is looking bad on the Prince family as a whole. And the truth got to come out about what happened that took the life of Takeoff. And you can't blame it on the Migos. It's not on them. It's not on Quavo. He already got to deal with that for his life, the rest of his life. I'm sure he blamed himself, but it wasn't on him. And it wasn't during no dice game. Now, something did happen in the dice game that I think was ran by Jay Prince Jr. To me, if you got that type of hot stuff, hot heat on you, I'll try to stay low and cool and calm. I won't be on the scene popping bottles and all the stuff that people like to do in this day and age during this time of inflation. But y'all do recall in September that you had the unfortunate killing, or the assassination rather, of Duke the jeweler, the famous jeweler, young black man from Chicago, who won $100,000, I think, at a Jay Prince Jr. Controlled and organized dice game. I think this was Jay Prince Jr.'s dice game that he sponsored. This happened at the Little Boosie concert, right, down in Houston this past September. Duke the jeweler was posting his earnings online. He was counting his money. You got pictures of him at the table. You got Jay Prince Jr. across from him. And you got a lot of interesting looking characters. A lot of hard legs, no women. I didn't see that many women. You got one person that may have been a woman. It's like she probably been like, a woman that, thinks she a man or something. I don't know. But I'm saying you had like a shooter's gallery. You had some interesting looking characters. I would not feel comfortable being around these guys. I'm not in that type of stuff. I don't try to pose to be no tough guy, no gangster like that. But, it was a tough room of some interesting characters he with. He had Little Boosie looking over his shoulder and stuff like that. And he won $100,000. Now, mind you, he allegedly was wearing $1 million worth of jewelry on his person. He won $100,000. He posted everything on Instagram, his location, everything, right? And he has no security around him. He has no security guards, has no entourage, nobody but himself walking to his car in the parking lot and he get killed. This is after a J. Prince Jr. dice game. So the lesson for me is to stay away from any dice game that the Prince family organized. Stay away from their birthday parties. Stay away from their dice games. Stay away from them. That's the message that sent me, because you had to happen in September. Then the next month, you got, or not the, well, it happened, Halloween, then November 1st, you got Takeoff getting killed, and the Prince family is connected to that. And J. Prince Jr. is on the scene, allegedly walking away from Offset's dead body, while Quavo is in hysterics. Somebody said that he even passed out Quavo. They had to help him to the car. So I don't know. I mean, I wasn't there. I'm just going by what I'm hearing on social media about all the things that transpire, right? So J. Prince Jr., damn, man, y'all taking the L's left and right? Because you just had this dice game where a prominent guy, Duke the jeweler, was killed, who's out of towner. I still don't understand why he didn't have security around him. See, I'm the type of dude, I don't care about jewelry. The most expensive thing I might have on my person is my head or my shoes. I love hats. I don't care about wearing all that jewelry. I got relatives, they love wearing tens of thousands of dollars worth of jewelry on their person. I had an auntie, she lost a $2,000 bracelet at lunch at a restaurant. And she went back there, they said they couldn't find it. I know somebody found that $2,000 bracelet. They just kept it for themselves. It is what, and she tips well too, which is unfortunate. But I don't like wearing jewelry like that. I don't like to bring that type of attention to myself. Now I do bring attention to myself because I speak loud. I wear these interesting hats and whatever. But in terms of jewelry, and to be out yourself in somebody else's town, really, it is about the streets like that. If they really about their life, they should have provided him with some type of protection. Somebody did, but Little Boosie said he wasn't responsible. They were trying to put on Little Boosie. That wasn't even his dice game. That was one organized by J. Prince Jr. So I don't know. That's your town. It just looked bad to me that all these people getting killed in Houston like that, and people are talking about this thing called checking in. You go to L.A., you got to check in with so and so. You go to Houston, you got to check in and so and so. You go to Chicago, I ain't checking in with nobody, because y'all can't protect nobody, man. Y'all don't run those streets like that. It's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. OGs don't exist, only in movies. Ain't no real OGs no more, man. So, I love Houston, man. My sperm donor lives in Houston. And so he's been there for like 30 plus years. And I remember I used to go to Houston back in the 90s. Man, when I used to go down to Houston, they'd be bumping A.L.L and MJG. I thought A.L.L and MJG was from the Fifth Ward, the way they was bumping and representing A.L.L and MJG down in Houston. But they from Orange Mound in Tennessee and Memphis. So, I mean, Memphis and Houston got a special relationship, especially with the music. Like I talk about Johnny Ace, killed himself by accident Christmas night down the City Auditorium that got demolished back in the 50s. You talk about Bobby Blue Bland. Duke Records was started in Memphis by a white dude at WDA, and then Don Roby took it from him. Bobby Blue Bland, Johnny Ace, Duke Records, Peacock Records. Memphis and Houston got a special connection. So I'm not, people talking about, well, Houston, don't go there. No, Def doesn't play favorites when it comes to area codes and zip codes. Def does not play any favorites when it comes to area code and zip codes. Def does not play any favorites when it comes to area codes and zip codes. And quite frankly, you can't even blame the music for this one. This is part of what did Tupac say in America's Most Wanted? N-words been dying for years. So how can they blame us? N-words been dying for years. So how can they blame us? N-words been dying for years. So how can they blame us? See, people want to call me anti-Semitic, right? Because I post facts on my social media. I got so-called Jewish friends that I don't hear from 20 years. We went to college together. They may wish me happy birthday every now and then, but they think I got some that I'm a troublemaker because I point out facts about so-called Jewish people being involved in nefarious activities as relates to humanity. And all Jewish people are not evil like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like saying you believe all Italian Americans are members of the mafia. That's not fair. All Italian Americans are not members of the mafia. Matter of fact, it was a prominent Italian American, Rudolph Giuliani, that took on the 5 families during the 80s. up in New York. He took on the 5 families, put their bosses and gave them football numbers. Just had Carmine Persico. His name Persico. That Carmine Persico, that's his name. Used to be head of Colombo family. He just passed away in prison because the work of Rudy Giuliani put him in prison back in the 80s. He died in prison. Rudy Giuliani is a proud Italian American man. So he took on the mob. Then you had the first Italian cop up in New York City, or the first Italian detective, Joseph Petrosino. Captain Joseph Petrosino took on the mob when it was known as the Black Hand in New York. He went to Italy by himself and got assassinated by the mob over in Italy. They did a movie about his life starring Ernest Borgnine. He played Joseph Petrosino. Look all these people up. So it's not about no hate, but some of my favorite gangsters are Jewish. So how am I anti-Semitic with some of my favorite gangsters in history are Jewish? Like Bugsy Siegel. Now I like Bugsy is like he's what a gangster is supposed to look like and act like to me. You know, and Frank Sinatra used to hero worship Bugsy Siegel. All the movie stars used to love Bugsy Siegel, except for the guy that plays. I hate when I do this because I be thinking about all this stuff. James Stewart, he couldn't stand Bugsy Siegel. James Stewart told Bugsy off and lived about. James Stewart was a man. His father, Jimmy Stewart, you know, that movie It's a Wonderful Life that comes on every year around Christmas. Jimmy Stewart couldn't stand Bugsy Siegel, but Frank Sinatra hero worshiped Bugsy Siegel. And that's a Jewish guy. And his daughter just died not too long ago. The daughter whose godmother was Jean Harlow, right? But I bring up the Jewish gangster because November 6th is the 94th anniversary. I'll get this right. It's 94th anniversary of the death of Arnold Rothstein. No, Arnold Rothstein. Y'all ever heard of Arnold Rothstein? Arnold Rothstein is the real godfather of American mafia. So they always talk about the Italians organized. No, it was Arnold Rothstein that provided the blueprint for the mob. He trained and mentored Lucky Luciano, Bugsy Siegel, Meyer Lansky, Frank Costello, Vito Genovese. He trained Italians and Jews and the Irish. You know, Jack Legs Diamond. See, I love organized crime history, and I love it. But he trained all these guys. He organized what became known as the modern American mafia. But he got killed in the aftermath of a card game that was rigged. It was a rigged card game in a hotel in New York City back in 1928, right before the big election for president, right? Arnold Rothstein allegedly owed the guys who ran the card game $319,000. That would be like around $5 million in today's money. So you own a lot of money to these guys that rigged this card game. The card game was organized by a gambler, a well-known gambler called Titanic Thompson. This guy named Titanic Thompson helped organize the card game. And they rigged the card game, but Arnold Rothstein was trying to make them wait until after the election because he had money coming in on bets on who's going to be president and stuff like that. Now, Arnold Rothstein is a guy who they said fixed the 1919 World Series between the Chicago White Sox and the Cincinnati Reds, became known as the Black Sox of 1919. We had 8 baseball players, including the baseball great Shoeless Joe Jackson, were banned for life from baseball. And they said that Arnold Rothstein organized the fix, and they still fixing games. These sports games been fixed and rigged, okay? But Arnold Rothstein was shot to death. Ended up dying from his wounds. Police went to the hospital and said, who shot you, Arnold? Who shot you, Rothstein? He said, your mother did it. You know, he wouldn't tell. He took that oath. He said, I'm not going to tell who killed me. And he died November 6, 1928. You know, and had he lived, he would have got the big payoff on voting on the right people to win these elections back then. But what I'm saying is there was no rap around or no hip hop around when Arnold Rothstein was taken out like that. It was at a card game. It was a beef over a card game. So don't just blame this on rap music when American culture is rap history. American history is nothing but a long gangster rap album. It's nothing but a long gangster rap album. Ain't nothing but a gangster party. So this is part of America. Like Dr. King said, the greatest purveyor of violence on the planet is my own government. He said the greatest purveyor of violence on the planet is my own government. The greatest purveyor of violence on the planet is my own government. See, the government produces stuff, the media like this. Look up Operation Mockingbird, where your news and information is controlled by the U.S. intelligence corporations or the U.S. intelligence complex. They didn't have no social media back then with Biggie and Tupac. Who really controlled Vibe magazine and all those media outlets like MTV? They control the narrative on the so-called East Coast West Coast war. Tupac's from the East Coast. He was born in New York, raised in Baltimore, and then came to the West Side. So Tupac was like a mutt. He was a cultural, he was all over the place. He had love for New York. He did albums and songs with people from New York, but they had like he hated New York. He had love for New York. He's from there. He was called MC New York at the beginning. He went by MC New York. Okay? So, I mean, we got to look at even this narrative that's being spun right now about they're trying to say Quavo. It wasn't even a dice game. The party was actually over for a while. I think the party ended like an hour and a half or 90 minutes earlier. It wasn't even going on. They outside talking, shooting the breeze. Look at their phone video camera. One of the phone video camera films. Phone video camera, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. The video from the camera phone. Quavo, they got into about basketball. Quavo was de-escalating the situation. He said, come on, let's go. They were leaving, and then the tragedy happened with his nephew getting taken out like that. And folks said there should not be no phone cameras available because then you see a character that look like Jay Prince Jr. leaving the scene without any type of concern about the person he was partying with laying on the ground still with his head blown off. Oh, we can't show this. No, show it all. I don't have no problem with people recording. This is just the times we living in. Because if we didn't have people shooting this at different angles, we wouldn't have any type of idea what happened. And the fact that TMZ could get this information before the police is interesting. The TMZ is the Fed to me. TMZ made their name by telling the whole world that Michael Jackson was dead before the proper authorities could alert his family. They already told everybody, according to TMZ, Michael Jackson's dead. They had that information before the police did. So what I'm saying is, enter TMZ get all this information. And the thing about Jay Prince Sr., that statement, it don't have any type of shine. It just really like whatever. That's not your sons getting murked like that. I think Jay Prince had a nephew that got killed recently, I believe, down in Houston. Y'all know I don't keep up with all that. I just go through. I see stuff that pop on my phone, and okay. So I think he had a nephew that got killed not too long ago to some street violence. But I'm saying, man, your words create worlds, man. I used to love the Ghetto Boys back in the day, but I don't hear Scarface or Willie D saying anything about this. And normally they're very opinionated, especially Willie D. He's very opinionated about a lot of different things. So, there's so much stuff to peel back. Let me read this comment section before I get out of here. Yeah, I saw that. They actually, it's a civil lawsuit. I think they did a criminal investigation. They couldn't find anything criminal. So it's an ongoing civil lawsuit from my understanding. But still, though, Takeoff, he's the least vocal. I mean, he was probably the nicest in terms of lyrical flow of the Migos, but he was the least like out there on the social media streets and raising havoc and bringing attention to himself. So that's why it was a shock to a lot of people that he was the one that got taken out of here. Man, if you can't bring him back, you can't right the wrong, man. The Prince family has been very blessed. They've been very insulated. And now things are touching them now. At this point, I don't really care about all that. Y'all, see, we out here, we call it It's a lot of speculation. I don't know. I just know that it was a person that looked like him with that JR medallion that he wears, walking past like it was no care in the world. I wish folks would have did a better job of recording this stuff on their camera phones, whatever. But it is what it is, man. But all we know is Takeoff is dead. We can't bring him back. At least we can't bring them back. I'm sure they got a way to bring people back through stem cells and CERN portals and stuff like that. Yeah, the media is responsible for this stuff. I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't hear about Bloods and Crips. You know how I heard about Bloods and Crips? Watching the movie Colors. Who produced Colors? He had Sean Penn and Robert Duvall, who also played in The Godfather. Hollywood produced Colors. No, that was I think Dennis Hopper's film. I think Dennis Hopper directed it or something. He's involved. But I didn't know about no Bloods and Crips until Colors came out in the 80s. Then you had Ice-T, Colors. The media helped spread that. I didn't know who Stanley Tookie Williams was. I had no idea who was Stanley Tookie Williams was until the 2000s when they were trying to save his life, when they were trying to get his death sentence commuted to life imprisonment. I didn't know who Stanley Tookie Williams was. When Colors came out, Stanley Tookie Williams was in prison. So how can you blame Stanley Tookie Williams for spreading the Crip culture around? The media did that. Hollywood did that. Music industry spread that poison around. Colors. And then you didn't look at rap before BC, before Chronic, before that Chronic album came out. You had all types of rap on the radio. You had Salt and Pepper, Kid and Play. Even had some Public Enemy. Jungle Brothers had some Queen Latifah, MC Light. Even when you had them rap things, like people talk about The Message, Broken Glass Everywhere with Melly Mel. But think about self-destruction. We heading for self-destruction. We heading for self-destruction. And Kool Moe Dee said this line, like the paraphrase Kool Moe Dee. I never had to run from the Klan, so I shouldn't have to run from a black man. I never had to run from the Klan, so I shouldn't have to run from a black man. He had Big Daddy Kane. I love Big Daddy Kane. That boy still can dance. I don't know what's going on with Genuine, but Big Daddy Kane still got his moves. But Big Daddy Kane used to date Malcolm's eldest daughter. How many of y'all knew that Big Daddy Kane used to date her? Big Daddy Kane was the man. Big Daddy Kane is the patriarch of the Brooklyn flow. Biggie and Jay-Z come out of Big Daddy Kane. Biggie got connected through Tupac via Big Daddy Kane. Put some props on, put some respect on Big Daddy Kane's name, man. But I'm saying, like, the music was different than, Death Row Records saved Interscope. Kind of like how black moviegoers saved Hollywood with Blaxploitation saved Hollywood back in the 70s. And Death Row Records saved Interscope back in the 90s. Jimmy Iovine, another one of those guys that we can't talk about. We can't mention his religion and all that. He was drowning until Suge Knight came along. You see, you gotta understand. Black power is unity and solidarity. White power is divide and conquer. Remember what I'm saying. When you have real black power, it's unity and solidarity. White power is divide and conquer. Suge was mentor. His Jegna. I hate to use the word mentor because mentor means something else in the Greek and Roman culture. To be a mentor is to be something that we don't think of today. Or maybe we do now because everything's changing. I like to call people they call mentors, I call them Jegnas. Suge Knight Jegna was a brother from Nashville, from Tennessee, named Dick Griffey, who ran Solar Records, right? Dick Griffey was Suge Knight's Jegna. When Death Row was trying to get on their feet, he helped see them through. But Jimmy Iovine used the divide and conquer trick to pull Suge Knight away from Dick Griffey. It's like one of those pivotal moments in hip-hop rap history that's not discussed enough. Like y'all were talking about the big meeting where all the rap executives got together with the private prison people, say, we're going to make a certain type of music to put all these Negroes in prison, but we don't never talk about how Interscope survive and thrive eventually by dividing black people by putting black people against each other. They was on the way to coming up. Think about even Sugar Hill Rackets, right? Sylvia Robinson. Sugar Hill Rackets was in a very unique position. They actually had the market corner on rap music because they had the first rap song, Rapper's Delight, to the hip, the hop, the hip. They had Sugar Hill Gang. They even had Cash One sign. He had Angie Stone. Yes, the soul singer Angie Stone was a part of a pioneering hip hop group. She had a lot of hip hop acts signed to a label, but didn't want to share the wealth with these people. And then they had a Jewish guy named Morris Levy, or Levy Levy. He's a Jewish gangster record executive. No, if you look at the movie Why Do Fools Fall in Love, he was the one that stole from Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers. And he stole from a lot of black acts, but Morris Levy was a Jewish gangster, mob connected dude in the record business. And Sylvia Robinson and her husband got in bed with him. And next thing you know, he got everything. And he was facing prison time when he died. He was facing football numbers in prison, Morris Levy. And anyway, so when you talk about that, is it being anti-Semitic? The point is, so many people, Jewish guys in the record business, took advantage of black acts. Is that anti-Semitic to point that out? That a lot of these black acts were signed back in the day, signed Jewish founded, led, and funded record labels back in the 50s and 60s. Look at the movie Cadillac Records. How they treating the black acts in the Cadillac. And I don't like that movie per se. It looks good stylistically. It's a nice little period piece, but it's flawed because it don't tell the real truth. But when they wanted their money, what they get? They get Cadillacs, right? They got Cadillacs instead of their money. When Tupac wanted to see the books about how much royalties was coming to him, they just give him new cars and new houses, but not in his name, right? That's just part of the business practice of their culture, of their industry. But I mean, oh my God, Houston, we have a problem. I appreciate it. Thank you. And there's a lot of people in this room I ever had without Judge Joe Brown being on here. And I'm at, and to me, it's time for me to move a different route. Because Judge got enough platforms. He doing his thing. Shout out to Judge Joe Brown. But it's some things I want to cover. I'm moving a different way because this stuff is interesting to me. Because like when tragedies like this happen, there are lessons that need to be taught, that need to be heard, that can be amplified during the moment. And I'm doing a couple more shows this weekend. But if y'all like what y'all hearing, feel free to donate, man. Because like I'm actually running a nonprofit. I'm not getting money. I put out things in the neighborhood, in the community. I put on concerts, events that I don't have no money. I don't know how I do it. I must be one of the chosen people. Cause I'm an alchemist. I could turn water into wine. I could turn sugar honey iced tea into gold. We are magical, amazing people. To me, Kanye West becoming a billionaire is more impressive than Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates becoming a billionaire because he had to get out the mud. Whatever you think about Kanye, he had to build that stuff from the mud. Bezos and Bill Gates had inheritances. They had folks helping them with all type of loans, all type of family money. Bill Gates' parents were very well off. So he didn't get it out the mud. So that's who we are. So I got respect for what Jay Prince built. And like I said, let me read. I read about his sons. Thank you so much. Thank you. I will keep pushing. Thank you, Fred Dogs. Love you madly too. Thank you so much. So Jay Prince has 7 kids. Thank you, Mrs. Me, for your donation. We love you madly. Okay, so my understanding, they said some sources said 3 sons and $4, but you saying, I guess that's Jay Prince Sr. He has 7 children. He has 4 sons. His first son name is Dre, then Prince Jr., then Jazz Prince, then baby brother's Baby J, and then there's 2 daughters. He said 4 sons. Wait a minute, I'm doing my mouth is all 1, 2, 3, 4. What? So that's the only the name 6 people, but that's another story. But it's interesting to know. But let me read about the father, because the fruit don't fall too far from the tree. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of rappers get sacrificed in the month of November, though. Like you got Mo 3, with Mo 3 killed in November, King Von, Young Dolph, definitely now Takeoff. It's some other people too, so many rappers. But they don't understand they're casting spells. You understand? Like I try to tell people, you why you know we the chosen people, because we have powers that we don't understand or understand. We forgot that we knew, right? If you think about it, okay, I always do this example, right? You think about Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, they known for playing iconic gangster roles. They're known for playing iconic gangster roles, right? They're about 80 years old. They still doing movies. They still play their gangster roles. Nothing happened to Robert De Niro, Al Pacino. Al Pacino, actually, as a young man, was close to getting into the mob life. He used to get in trouble as a younger man, and he changed. I think he got in trouble. He was a hothead back in the day as a young person, but he came around. He's an iconic actor. Why is it that Al Pacino and De Niro could play these gangster movie roles and still be around to be grandparents and great grands, whereas Tupac and Biggie could not make it out their 20s? You think about what Biggie did. Biggie's first album was Ready to Die, right? His second album was Life After Death. When did the second album come out? After he was dead. You're nobody till somebody kills you. See what I'm saying? Tupac kept on talking about, I see death around the corner, all this stuff. He wrote a poem about, in the event of my demise, he fated himself to die young. He knew he was going to die young. He kept on speaking into existence, and it happened. See, the thing about it is, if you are an artist and you selling millions of copies of your songs and your albums, and you putting all that out there, you creating an atmosphere that's conducive to you being assassinated. It's just like, I'm gonna do a show. Y'all should subscribe to the channel. I got a lot of great things coming. You know, they just exonerated the people that were accused of killing Malcolm, that spent 20 plus years in prison. Muhammad Aziz, I think the state of New York is going to give him over $20 million for his pain and suffering. My problem is this: he may not have pulled the trigger that killed brother Malcolm X. There is footage of a person that looks like him when he was a younger man outside the Audubon. He may not have pulled that trigger, but he was a goon allegedly back in the day. He was an enforcer. He was part of the Fruit of Islam. And it was like a goon squad. He's going around beating up people. I ain't saying him. Y'all heard stories about some of the brothers in the Fruit of Islam. Because some of them guys were gangsters, man. Think about Temple Number 12 in Philadelphia. That's the home, the origins of the Black Mafia family. I ain't talking about BMF and Big Meech. What the Black Mafia family did in Philly would make them like choir boys up in Detroit. No disrespect. But they were black Muslims, gangsters. Temple Number 12. See, if Malcolm was allowed to succeed Elijah Muhammad, he would have cleaned up the mosque in Philadelphia as well as Mosque 25 up in Newark. One of his mortal enemies, I believe, James Shabazz, ran Mosque 25. They had some real goons and enforcers in Mosque 25 in Newark, as well as Temple Number 12. You know, they killed all those Muslims in D.C. at their house. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's Jegna, that was his home. They killed his family. Remember, he went down to City Hall in D.C. and they shot Marion Barry. They almost killed Marion Barry. The Hanafi Muslims. The Hanafi. I think it's a Hanafi, right? Yeah, Dan Rather said it. No, I already tell you about Dan Rather. But the guy who started that Muslim group, he used to be a spokesperson for the Nation of Islam before Malcolm was. Look this stuff up. I can't make it's just so much stuff that's not being told about a lot of things. He was Malcolm's Jegna at one point. Malcolm used to go to him after he found out the revelations about Elijah Muhammad and these young women. I ain't gonna say they were young girls because these women, like, they were like in their late teens or 20s. I ain't gonna get in all that. It's so much stuff. Now we open the Pandora's box. I don't know what I was talking about. But it is so much stuff. But the guy who found it was massacred by the black Muslims and black mafia out of Philly. He was a former spokesperson for the Nation of Islam before Malcolm was the spokesperson. And let me see. Let me drink my water. Cause like what I'm saying about the Nation of Islam culture, the Fruit of Islam, they were hardcore, man. And Malcolm trained them. See, Muhammad Aziz, he was allegedly part of a group of people that would go around trying to intimidate Malcolm before he died. Like they'll follow Malcolm to airports around the country. They'll be following his car. They'll try to approach him in the public to jump on him to beat him up or do something worse than Malcolm. They even beat up a lot of his supporters and followers. It was a Muslim brother who used to be the spokesperson for a press secretary for Muhammad Ali. He followed Malcolm out of the Nation of Islam. He was beat up real bad by some of the brothers allegedly from the Fruit of Islam. And then after Malcolm got killed, I think he alerted authorities, said he knew who probably killed Malcolm. Next thing you know, he was dead in a hotel up at the Sheraton Hotel in Boston. The next month, March of 65. They try to say he died from natural causes, and ain't nothing natural about the way he died, okay? And that's another story. But what I'm saying is, even Minister Farrakhan, when he wrote in the paper that Malcolm helped found it, Muhammad Speaks, he said what Malcolm did to the minister caused for his death. I'm not saying this. This is what Farrakhan said in that paper, Muhammad Speaks. And they got a picture of Malcolm's head with devil horns bouncing down the street. It's bouncing down the street with devil horns. So he may not have actually pulled the trigger, Muhammad Aziz or even Farrakhan, but they helped create an environment that led to Malcolm getting taken out here at the age of 39 in front of his family. So that's a stain that nobody can never run away from. Like with the Prince family, what happened to Takeoff is going to be a stain, it's going to be a part of their legacy. It's going to be in their obituaries when they die. You know what I'm saying? It's something you can't run away from. So I don't know how you write something like this unless you turn in the folks responsible for doing this to his brother, Takeoff. Imagine if they had social media, YouTube, 25, 30 years ago. Imagine if people had cell phone cameras in Las Vegas, September 7, 1996. Imagine they had cell phone cameras, March 9th, 1997, in Los Angeles. These cases would have been solved years ago. This is why it's important that people keep on recording. Y'all keep on talking about y'all feelings. See, black people always talking about emotions. They're not talking about logic. Record all this stuff. Because had this situation had not been recorded at all, then Jay Prince's statement would hold more weight. Then the police chief could say what he want to say and not be questioned about it. They could put the blame on Quavo's group and on Takeoff's group. Here's the thing about Texas, man. If somebody from the Migos entourage actually did the shooting, they would have arrested that person. That person would be holding in jail. He'd be in prison right now, in jail. See, I remember looking at a documentary, I think American Justice on A&E. You know, this is after they were talking about how they kept on getting all these criminals from New Orleans. They were relocating to Houston. They was relocating to Houston, Texas. And in New Orleans before Katrina, if you was accused of killing somebody, they will put you in jail for 30 days or a month, right? If no witnesses came forward to say they saw you kill so-and-so, they'll let you go out to 30 days. You spend a month in prison. If they can't find any witnesses to collaborate or to confirm that you was involved in the killing of somebody, they'll let you walk off. See, the New Orleans thugs and criminals thought they could do that in Houston, Texas. They thought if they go to Texas, they'll get the same treatment they got in New Orleans pre-Katrina. And it was a police officer that will be interviewed from Houston. He said, The guy said, okay, it's been 30 days. Let me go. He said, you're not going nowhere, buddy. And dude had this look on his face. He can't believe it. He said, well, in New Orleans, they let us go after a month or so. If nobody come forward with any information, tie me to the crime. No, this is Texas. We do things different in Texas. So trust me, if it was somebody from the Migos camp that actually did that, they would have been held in custody. But the thing about it was a jazz Prince event. This is the Prince family involved. This is their event. So they the one that had the security. They're responsible for security. You know, the Prince family took a lot of L's this last couple of months, man. In Houston, really, this whole year. Because rappers are not safe in Houston, man. I talking about Memphis and Houston had a great relationship over the years when it came to the music talent, right? But you had 2 Memphis rappers get killed in Houston. Like I said, I ain't know about no lot of Cash Desto till she was dead. You're nobody to somebody kills you. You see what I'm saying? And then you start looking at her situation, you think this is a Houston beef. It's like something to do with Jacksonville, Florida. Like she said something about somebody's dead ops, and there was Jacksonville, Florida, that got her killed in Houston. See, like the mob, the mob always been in competition with each other, whether it be out the 5 families, whether it be Kansas City, Chicago, Milwaukee, Detroit, Los Angeles. But when it came to Las Vegas, it was neutral. Like, you know, the families, all the families around the country, they can have their own casino, but they all agreed that this is like, we don't do all that street stuff that we do back home here. This is neutral because all about making money. There's enough for everybody to have, right? When it comes to hip hop, where's that place? Where is hip hop Switzerland at? Well, people don't have to worry about getting shot up eating chicken and waffles or going to get cookies for their mama. Where's that neutral ground for rappers and hip hop? And like I said, there's no OGs, man. There's none. See, I'm sitting here because I'm trying to take advantage of this moment. All these people here. I'm about to get out this though. But it was something that happened back in the 1920s. I did a video on it. This is nightclub owner named Baron Wilkes or Wilkins. Very popular nightclub owner in Harlem. Very prominent businessman, philanthropist. I think he actually owned and ran a black baseball team. But he was killed back in the day up in Harlem. I think at his nightclub spot where the famous James Reese Europe used to play his piano, and George Gershwin, the Jewish George Gershwin, his music hero was a black man from Mobile, Alabama, by the way of DC, named James Reese Europe, who brought jazz to Europe as a Harlem Hellfighter back in World War I. And James Reese Europe, he was the first black man to lead troops into battle during World War I. He brought jazz to Europe, only to be killed at a concert in Boston back on May 9th, 1919. He was killed by his drummer, a guy named Herbert Wright, who served about 7 to 8 years in prison. There was no rap back then. There was no hip hop. He was stabbed in the neck by his drummer during a concert and bled to death later on in the hospital. He was the first black person given a public funeral in New York City history. Look up James Reese Europe. I did a book about him called The Jazz Lieutenant. It's on Amazon. But let me look up Baron Wilkins. I'll bring up Baron Wilkins. And like I said, I did a video. Read about what happened to him. He was killed by a black dude named Yellow Charleston. Baron D. Wilkins was killed by. Baron D. Wilkins, Negro proprietor of a well-known Harlem cabaret and a power in the Harlem Black Belt, was shot to death last evening because he refused to give getaway money to a man who had just killed another Negro. The shooting was in front of Wilkinson's cabaret. the exclusive club 198 West 134th Street at 7th Avenue. Let me see. Yeah, they used to call him the big bank account because he had so much money. He used to give out money to people. He was kind of like the black version of Arnold Rothstein, the guy I talked about earlier. Just trying to see some. Cause I got on here. I'm trying to get out this information. Cause a lot of cats ain't gonna give y'all information like this. If you look at Baron Wilkins, he's like a cross between Jay-Z and Denzel Washington. He had that swagger about him. He had that look about him. But he was killed by this guy named Yellow Charleston. And Baron Wilkins was so well respected in the Harlem community that the black gangsters like Bumpy Johnson, they put together a search party for Yellow Charleston. Yellow Charleston was so afraid to stay out on the streets that he turned himself in to the authorities. And ended up getting the electric chair. He was more prepared to face the electric chair than to be tortured by the black guys that was after him. You had a code back then. You don't have no codes no more. I don't know. That's a good question. Because we don't know what the official, because the story keep on changing. I don't know what happened with his chain, but people were claiming that they were trying to snatch his chain and that led to him getting shot. I don't know. But, you want to think that it was an accident, but like he was targeted for some reason. And Quavo was lucky to get out of there alive. Yeah, well, I talked about Duke the Jeweler earlier. Yeah, but nobody should be going to a dice game thrown by the princess ever again in life. I wouldn't trust going to any of that dice game or birthday party. No disrespect to them, but you gotta set preservation. It's the number one law of nature. And I'm gonna read a little bit about Jay Prince singing before I get out of here. Thank y'all for tuning in. Like I said, I expect these many people to tune in or to tune out, to tune in, to get in where you fit in. But I'm gonna close out like this. And there's so much information, man, to be shared, man. I'm just a weirdo like that. I love this information. I gotta share it with people. Sometimes they put me at a disadvantage. I don't got no friends like that. People hate my guts down here. But anyway, James L. Smith, also known as James Prince, J. Prince, or Little J, born October 31st. So, family full of Scorpios, right? This is the dad. He was born on Halloween. This year, Halloween fell on a Monday. Okay. Is an American music executive, promoter, and manager. He is the CEO and co-founder of the Houston-based record label Rap-A-Lot. Smith and his son Jazz are known for introducing Canadian rapper Drake to Lil Wayne and helping Drake sign to Young Money Entertainment in 2009. He also managed prolific boxers such as Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather Jr., and Shakur Stevenson. So Jay Prince Sr. is a certified legend, like I said, in business, in boxing, and music. Okay. Prince is known as one of the godfathers of the rap music industry and inspired other Southern hip-hop label executives, including Birdman of Cash Money Records and Master P of No Limit Records. Artists that have careers shaped by him include Scarface, one of my favorites, the GOAT, Ghetto Boys, and Bun B. All right. Prince was born to 16-year-old mother Sharon Johnson with an older sister, Zanaya, and younger half brother Thelton. They grew up in Fifth Ward, Houston's Bloody Nickel Apartments, which was known for cocaine use and poverty. He played football and had an entrepreneurial spirit since a young age. From the age of 7 years old, he would also hunt rabbits and birds in shady acres, mow his neighbors' yards, play craps, sell stolen marijuana plants, and worked on a wheeled-in truck for money. His sister died from getting hit by a train while walking home from school. Amongst other turbulence, friends and family were going to jail while Prince was rotating from school to school in different homes. He graduated from Kashmir High School. So J. Prince Sr., a true patriarch, visionary, very enterprising, very admirable traits. I mean, this is why he is who he is. This is why he's been successful. Had an amazing work ethic, it seems, from day one. Okay? And he lost his sister. He dealt with tragedy at a very close level early in life. So this is interesting. Should I read all that boxing? Blah, 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 blah. For over 2 decades, Prince has operated a 1,200-acre ranch for raising Black Angus cattle and hay. In 2020, he launched Loyalty, a liquor and wine brand. Wow. In 2006, Prince founded condom company Strap after a close friend contracted HIV, drastically going from 300 pounds to 75 pounds, passing away afterwards. He had the idea for the company since 2002. The company primarily served the Houston area and has been represented by artists like Lil Wayne. You know, Lil Wayne using no condoms. Come on, all them kids he got. He want to do every girl in the world. Okay. Hey, ain't no judgment here. He one of my favorite rappers too. Just reading through this. So this is big boxing thing. Prince was an avid fan of boxing growing up, being an amateur fighter and a fan of promoter Don King. Became a manager for boxers as a way to get into the industry. He opened a boxing gym in Fifth Ward, Houston around 1999, known as J. Prince Boxing, which later became part of the multi-million-dollar Prince Boxing Complex. Prince had the intention of meeting Mike Tyson in Las Vegas to manage the boxer. He was instead approached by Floyd Mayweather Jr., who was also a fan of his label. After being ignored by Tyson, Prince decided to go with managing Mayweather. Now, wow, this man is gifted. He has a blessed life. They settled on a 20% deal, which was 10% higher than the management deal he had with his father, Floyd Mayweather Sr., supervising, as well as the potential opportunity to start a rap career over at his record label. The management relationship ended in 2003 due to financial differences between the two. Prince managed Andre Ward after the 2004 Summer Olympics. In 2002, Prince called Ward after hearing he was about to quit boxing due to the passing of his father, but convinced him to continue his career. They split ways in 2008 due to financial issues also, with each filing a lawsuit with each other over the matter in 2008. Prince has supervised the careers of 15 other boxers, leading some of them to their biggest victories, including Winky Wright, Jared Anderson, Roy Jones Jr., Diego Corrales, Mark Johnson, Duke Reagan, F.A. Ajaba, I guess Hassim Rahman. So think about this, y'all. This man has lived a charmed life. This man has lived several lifetimes in one life. You could make the case that Prince Sr. is the most interesting man in the world. But, you see he had them issues with them boxers, right? Like Floyd Mayweather Jr. and some other guys. But who was his idol? Don King. That's probably why Mike Tyson didn't want to get with Prince. Because if your idol's Don King, you know how Don King and Mike Tyson, you know how that worked out, right? I'm just saying a little joke. Ain't nothing, I don't know them like that. But what I'm saying is J. Prince Sr. basically laid the blueprint out for his sons to follow in his footsteps. But this is this unfortunate stain on that legacy. It's like he has an amazing legacy, right? And like I said, I didn't start learning about this until this tragedy happened. And then what we as Black people got to start doing, just don't gossip and all that, but start researching. When something like this happened, research the key players involved in the narrative and learn their stories. I still want to go know about the police chief. You talking about his close relationships with the rap community in Houston. Should he not recuse himself from leading this case? It's a lot to read here, but okay, in 2021, Prince helped revive Drake and Kanye West's relationship with the goal of all three coming together to help Larry Hoover by raising awareness on incarceration in the United States. They threw a benefit concert in December 2021 with support for judicial reform advocacy groups. The concert was at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum and produced by Donda, ITC Entertainment, and Phantom. It was played in select IMAX theaters, including Grauman's Chinese Theater, while being streamed on Amazon Music and Prime Video services. In 2022, Prince boycotted the Grammy Awards over Kanye West having been banned from attending. So, I mean, like I said, it was Jay Prince and Rap-A-Lot that really brought my attention to the story of Larry Hoover and the GDs back in the 90s. So you see him as the peacemaker. He's like kind of around me of Frank Costello, the Italian gangster. He was known as the prime minister of the underworld. Okay, he tried to do negotiations, mediation, arbitration, stuff like that. And I think Jay Prince did see himself as a peacemaker. And like I said, very impressive narrative, several lifetimes in one lifetime. But this has put a stain on all that. All the good and fellowship and all this stuff he's done. And people are going to recall what happened to Takeoff as being a part of his legacy, unfortunately. His family's legacy. I'm just reading through stuff. I guess y'all can read this too. He also interested in wanting to sign Vanilla Ice. Prior to the success of Ice Ice Baby, Prince wanted to sign rapper Vanilla Ice after seeing him perform in 1990 at the Summit, but did not follow through as a result. His business partner, Blogic, feeling that the artist lacked talent. But he did give us Ghetto Boys. So y'all can read all this stuff online. I just want to give a better understanding about these people. It's a lot to read, but I just also want to encourage the people who are reporting on this story. Give the people a little bit more, man. Do a little bit more background research like I done. It's not as lot, but it's a lot out there, and people should know about it. So I think that's it for now. I could talk on this all day. I hate when you found something you can't find it no more. I'm the only person deal with it. I be finding stuff and then I lose it. It be right in your face all the whole time. You looking for it. Translate. Okay, I'm gonna just I think I'm gonna tap out right now. I think I gave y'all enough. Let me read the comment section. Yeah, they get rapping is a dangerous profession. I mean, so many rappers getting killed. A lot of times I don't hear about these rappers till they get killed. And Harlem do got plenty, but it's being erased due to so-called gentrification. It's like Baltimore got a lot of Black history, but it's being erased. Think about universities like Johns Hopkins, Maryland Institute College of Art. A lot of these colleges and stuff buying up places like Harlem. You think about Columbia, NYU, and stuff like that. A lot of history is disappearing, but what makes that places valuable is because the Black histories and people that live there. Anywhere where Black people get up becomes valuable real estate. Learn that lesson. Y'all look at that as the ghetto. That's really a gold mine for white people. Anywhere where Black bodies are gathered become valuable real estate. Whether it be Seneca Village, which is Central Park, whether it be Wall Street, where they sold Black folks like cattle. We were one of the first products sold on Wall Street. Whether it be Georgetown, which was a Black community for generations. Or whether it be prisons, anywhere where the Black bodies are gathered become viable real estate for the system. Let me see. Let's see. You got time today, huh? You money bag yo or something? Now, I just want to give people a taste. I just think for y'all, I didn't expect that many people to come in here like this. But I hope to see more people talking about the Prince's background. Because, like, from my understanding, from my sources, the brothers don't get along that well. They don't get along. It's like they're feuding factions within the family. It's like any family. Now, you look at, we talking about the mafia, right? Look at the Colombo family, right? They were feuding. You had Joseph Colombo. You had the Gallo brothers, Crazy Joe Gallo, who was like a celebrity gangster. He got killed on his birthday, eating a late birthday or early birthday dinner or whatever at Umberto's Clam Shop or restaurant in Little Italy up in New York, April 7th of 72, I believe. He got killed in front of his family. So y'all keep on talking about these rappers getting killed at the cookie shop and rappers getting killed here and there. What Tupac said, N-word's been dying for years, so how can they blame us? John Gotti killed his boss in front of a world-class steakhouse that's still open to this day, Sparks Steakhouse up in Manhattan. He killed his boss and his driver, Thomas Bellotti, in front of the steakhouse. They still eating steaks. They still charging folks an arm and a leg for their steaks up at Sparks Steakhouse up in New York. I don't know. Well, thanks for dropping on by. I hope you won't be a stranger. Feel free to stay and look around the premises. Got a lot of interesting videos and whatnot. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna wrap it up, but this is such a waking point. We need to stop putting these so-called celebrities on pedestals. They ain't worth it. They sorry. These big black buck broken, sorry, lame, emasculated Sambos. I used to love these guys growing up watching sports. Now I just can't. I don't have no dealings. You up here throwing a brother under the bus, Kyrie Irving. Now people say they wish he didn't apologize. My thing is, you can only take so much. He gave $500,000, and what they do? They suspended him without pay. Give him his $500,000 back. All them colleges that revoked their honorary doctorates of Dr. Bill Cosby, give him his money back. This is how they do us, man. What's the point of having all that money and having all that prestige? You always scared. You always playing scared. LeBron James didn't have to say nothing about Kyrie Irving. He gonna throw his former teammate under the bus. The guy who helped him beat the Golden State Warriors. LeBron can't do it by himself. It's obvious that LeBron can't do it by himself. Look at the Lakers right now. But LeBron had to throw his opinion. No, it's like when Caesar got killed by the Senate. And then Brutus come, right? E2 Brute. E2 LeBron? You do that to your boy? Who need enemies? We got friends like these. Kanye the only one standing on his square, man. Kanye, forget 500,000. He lost a couple of billion and he's still on it. A lot of y'all get upset about losing $5. This brother lost a couple of billion, according to those powers that be. What I'm saying is, these weak-kneed, jello-spined Negroes, I don't care for celebrity no more. Dick Gregory warned us about these celebrities. Malcolm warned us about these court jesters. They don't do the people any good. They won't change history. If they keep on acting like this, they will be history before they know it. This is a sad excuse for a black male. I'm going to stop watching sports for a while. I'm going to stop watching sports. I just don't want to hear nothing about these guys. You up here breaking your neck over a kid's game. You are willing to put your health at risk over some fool's ball. But you're afraid to take a stand for your people. You're afraid to be a man. And you got the nerve. So you don't have to say nothing. There's a lot of Jewish people that don't support Israel. But they don't go out their way trying to condemn Israel. They don't. They just keep quiet. They talk among themselves. You had Jewish folks on the set of Drink Champs when Kanye was there. They didn't say anything that Kanye was being anti-Semitic. Probably they agreed with him, but they're not going to go out their way because the only group of people that like to give up power in this system is black people. So-called black people, the only one that want to share everything with everybody and get nothing in return. The only people that be told to vote and don't get nothing to show for your vote. Ain't nobody else voting like that. And I still think that a lot of Jewish people are still mad about Leo Frank. Leo Frank was lynched in Georgia. Georgia on my mind. Election coming up, right? But Leo Frank was a Jewish guy from the East Coast, from New York, who ran a pencil factory outside of Atlanta. He was accused of raping and killing this 13-year-old white girl that worked for him named Mary Fagan. She was found dead in the basement of the pencil factory. He tried to blame one of the black workers, the janitor or somebody that worked there. But the white folks wasn't going for it. They said, we want you. You did this. Because he had a reputation for supporting sex workers, allegedly. Right? He was married to a prominent Jewish lady. Her grandfather was one of the founders of one of the oldest synagogues in the state of Georgia. Her grandfather or great-grandfather was a prominent rabbi. Leo Frank lived with his wife's family in Atlanta proper. Their black maid said that Leo Frank confessed to killing that girl. Their black maid said that. Leo Frank was trying to blame the janitor that worked there and say he did it. They even wrote some type of weird letter saying that he confessed to doing it. The white folks said, no, you did it. So his wife petitioned the governor of Georgia at the time to commute his sentence to life in prison instead of death, whatever. I think they did commute their sentence to life, but yet the white folks went to the jail or prison, broke him out of there, and killed him. They lynched him. This is back in 1915. That's the same year I believe the Anti-Defamation League was started. It's also the same year that The Birth of the Nation came out, the movie that led to the rebirth of the Klan in Stone Mountain, Georgia. The Klan was reborn in Stone Mountain, Georgia, based on the movie Birth of a Nation. Don't tell me that movies and music don't have an effect on the psyche of the people. That film was screened in the White House by President Woodrow Wilson. He said it was like writing history with lightning. His classmate wrote the book The Klansman, Thomas Dixon, wrote that book, which led to the movie adaptation known as The Birth of a Nation. A lot of black folks voted for Woodrow Wilson. They thought he was the second coming of Lincoln. I don't know how they got that. But he resegregated D.C. and endorsed the Birth of a Nation. This all happened in 1915. So the fact that to this day, Jewish people have been trying to fight for the exoneration of Leo Frank. But the problem is, I'm going to tell you why he could have quite possibly did what they said he did. His wife, who was loyal to him, who never remarried, who never had any children, she lived for decades more. She died, I believe, sometime in the 50s. She refused to be buried next to him. She had a plot for herself to be buried next to him, and she refused it. She chose to be interred with her parents. So what did it say when the woman who fought for you, fought for your life, literally fought for your life, don't want to be buried by you in death? To death do us part? Or did she know that he was guilty of killing and raping that white girl, Mary Fagan? So it is what it is. But Jewish folks don't want to talk about Leo Frank in that way. They could have did it because they'll try. You think about it, they'll killing black folks. They were hanging black folks every day and a half in America, somewhere. But the fact that the white folks down there said, "Nah, we don't want the black dude. We want that Jew boy." That Jew boy did that because he had a reputation for messing around with girls, or sex, buying prostitution. I'm not saying this, not me. I'm just reading documents. Okay, I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm just pointing out some historical facts. But the fact that his wife did not want to be buried next to him speaks volumes about how she felt about that man at the end of her life. Yeah, y'all can cash out y'all support. Yeah, look, YouTube already been taking down some of my videos, and I'm gonna talk about that another time. But if you new to the channel, please subscribe while you can. I'm gonna close it out, but you can cash out your support $R2C2H2. That's $R2C2H2. You can PayPal, Zelle, and Google Pay R2C2H2 at gmail.com. That's R2C2H2 at gmail.com. You can Vimeo your support at R2C2H2. You can buy Art of His Art, R2C2H2.com. You can buy and wear Art of His Art. It's my shirt, Jimmy Lunsford. I'm gonna put that page up right quick, and then I'm gonna get out of here. Cause YouTube they be messing with me. I've been here for a while, and YouTube they doing all types of stuff with me, man. I feel like I'm a targeted individual. I ain't gonna lie to you. Cause I've been meeting some interesting characters on and offline. I don't know who these people are. They know a lot about me. I don't know a lot about them, but it's in God's hand. But anyway, yeah, this is my Teespring page, right? Buy Art of His Art. I'll put it in the chat. Well, I'm gonna talk about the videos they took down. I got a couple of videos about that because the anniversary of the death of the young man is coming up. But I'm gonna keep on talking. God put this in me. This is the time. I just thank God I'm alive for this time. All those cursing that Bobby D. Gregory did on me has worked out. Because he made me a soldier. That's all my artwork. That's my artwork. You know, portraying our righteous ancestors, jazz, music, hip-hop, forgotten heroes and sheroes. That's me. This is my handiwork. So support it. If you love art, if you love wearing shirts, yeah, the best of both worlds. No R. Kelly and Jay-Z. So anyway, let me read a disclaimer. I know a lot of people gonna misinterpret what I'm saying. And thank y'all for y'all cash outs, man. We appreciate you. Love you, man. And Henderson, thank you so much. We love you madly. Brother Daryl Nix always coming through. We love you madly. And everybody who has donated in the comment section and having shout out, I love y'all. Thank y'all for spending y'all Saturday with me. I had no idea I'd get this type of response off this video like this right now. But I'm gonna read a disclaimer before we get out of here. Dang, I will keep it a great work. Dang, I appreciate I needed that. Thank you so much. I actually did mention Shakur Stevenson. And was he at that party? Was he supposed to be at that party where everything went off? This was a bundle of information from you and love every minute. Now, I mentioned him a couple of times, but thank you for bringing them up. I'm going to emphasize that. Shakur Stevenson, another champion that Jay Prince manages to this day, repping Brick City. Shout out to Brick City, love in Jersey and all that. Yeah, but Jay, I mean, like, see, this is the thing. I like what people are doing in terms of talking about this, but let's talk about the background of some of these people because Jay Prince Sr. is a very impressive man. He's a very impressive man, but I just hate that his family had to endure this situation because it's going to put a stain on a lot of these stuff. Because Takeoff was not known as being a troublemaker. Like y'all was saying he's unproblematic or was. May he rest in peace. I'm saying, why him of all people, you know? That's right. 1,000 wow. Not just 100, 1,000 wow. Yes. So I'm gonna read a disclaimer right quick. And I'm gonna get you out of here. Thank y'all so much for being patient, for being loving and lovable. We love you madly. But here's a disclaimer, because people, I always back up all my stuff too. So just in case, if you want to stay in touch, you can email me at weallbe@gmail.com, or you can email me at r2c2h2@gmail.com and request to be added to our mailing list that I'm putting together so I can keep in touch with people just in case. So disclaimer, the views expressed by host and guests on the We All Be TV platform are not the official views, opinions, beliefs, or perspectives of We All Be News or the We All Be Group Incorporated. We All Be News is an organization that thoroughly believes in supplementing the information narrative that is usually supplied by the corporate news entities with those viewpoints and expressions which may be marginalized or ignored for a plethora of reasons. We are about informing the general public on alternative perspectives as it relates to news and information, and letting the general public be the ultimate judge and decide on how to use said information. Informed citizens are responsible citizens. Thank you for your support. Thank y'all so much for y'all support. Keep on producing and pushing. And in the words of the late great Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Until the next time, I am your brother, Brother Ron, and we all be in it to win it.